Hello, history buffs, and welcome back to our World War II series. Last time, we talked about the invasion of Poland and the strange quiet of the phony war. But in 1940, that quiet was shattered. Hitler turned his attention west, with one primary goal: to crush France and bring all of continental Europe under his heel. The French had built the formidable Maginot Line, a massive chain of fortifications along their border with Germany. They believed it was impenetrable, but the Germans had a different idea. Their plan, called the Manstein Plan, was audacious. Instead of a head-on assault, they would feign an attack through the Low Countries, the Netherlands, and Belgium to lure the main Allied forces north. Then, the real blow would come through a place the French considered impassable for tanks: the dense Ardennes forest. On May 10, 1940, the plan went into action. German forces stormed into the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. As predicted, the British Expeditionary Force and the best French armies rushed north to meet them. It was a trap. Just days later, a massive German panzer force, Group A, burst out of the Ardennes, completely bypassing the Maginot Line. They raced across northern France toward the English Channel, executing a sickle cut that sliced the Allied forces in two. By May 20th, German tanks had reached the coast, trapping over 300,000 Allied soldiers on the beaches of a small French port town called Dunkirk. Their backs were to the sea, and German forces were closing in from all sides. Defeat seemed inevitable. But then, a miracle happened. From May 26 to June 4th, a massive evacuation codenamed Operation Dynamo was launched. In an incredible display of resilience, a flotilla of over 800 vessels, from Royal Navy destroyers to small fishing boats and civilian yachts, crossed the channel under constant air attack. They managed to rescue over 338,000 soldiers, pulling them from the jaws of destruction. While it was a retreat, the miracle of Dunkirk saved the core of the British Army, allowing them to fight another day. But for France, the disaster was complete. With their best armies trapped or destroyed, the remaining French forces crumbled. The German war machine, the Blitzkrieg, was simply too fast, too modern. On June 14th, German troops marched into an undefended Paris. 8 days later, on June 22nd, France signed an armistice in the very same railway car where Germany had signed its surrender in 1918. Hitler's symbolic revenge was complete. Germany occupied northern and western France, while a puppet government, known as Vichy France, was established in the south. With the fall of France, the situation looked grim. Britain now stood alone, the last bastion of democracy, against a Nazi-dominated Europe, led by the defiant new Prime Minister, Winston Churchill. The British people prepared for invasion. Churchill famously declared, "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall never surrender." Hitler knew that to invade Britain, an operation codenamed Sea Lion, he first had to control the skies. This set the stage for one of the most decisive conflicts of the war, the Battle of Britain. Starting in July 1940, the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, launched a massive air campaign. Their initial targets were British shipping ports, and crucially, the airfields of the Royal Air Force, or RAF. The goal was to wipe out the RAF on the ground and in the air. For months, the skies over southern England became a battlefield. The outnumbered RAF pilots, aided by pilots from the Commonwealth and occupied nations like Poland and Czechoslovakia, flew day after day to meet the German onslaught. They had two key advantages: a sophisticated radar network called Chain Home that gave them early warning of incoming raids, and a superb command and control system. This allowed them to scramble their fighters, the iconic Spitfires and Hurricanes, exactly where they were needed. Frustrated by the RAF's stubborn resistance, Hitler made a critical mistake. In September, he shifted the focus of the attacks from airfields to bombing British cities, especially London. This campaign, known as the Blitz, was intended to break British morale. While it caused immense suffering, it gave the battered RAF a crucial breathing space. Their airfields could be repaired, and their pilots could rest. The RAF inflicted unsustainable losses on the Luftwaffe. By October, it was clear Germany could not achieve air superiority. Hitler was forced to postpone Operation Sea Lion indefinitely. It was his first major military defeat. While the aerial battle raged, another war was being fought in the icy waters of the Atlantic. The Battle of the Atlantic was Britain's lifeline. As an island nation, Britain depended on imports of food, fuel, and war materials. German U-boats, hunting in wolf packs, aimed to sever this lifeline and starve Britain into submission. It was a desperate struggle. For a time, the U-boats were devastatingly effective, but the Allies fought back. They organized their merchant ships into convoys protected by warships. They developed new technologies, like improved radar and sonar, to detect submerged submarines. And crucially, code breakers at Bletchley Park managed to crack the German Enigma codes, allowing the Allies to reroute convoys away from the wolf packs. Meanwhile, the Axis powers were solidifying their alliance. On September 27, 1940, Germany, Italy, and Japan signed the Tripartite Pact, formally creating the Axis alliance. They agreed to support each other if any of them were attacked by a nation not already in the war, a clear warning to the United States. Across Europe, Hitler continued to expand his influence without firing a shot. Romania, rich in oil, joined the Axis, as did Hungary and Bulgaria. But Hitler's ally, Mussolini, had grander ambitions. In October 1940, Italy invaded Greece, expecting an easy victory. Instead, the Greek army fought back fiercely and pushed the Italians back into Albania. The bungled invasion was an embarrassment that forced Germany to intervene. In April 1941, German forces swept through Yugoslavia and Greece, quickly conquering the Balkans. By the summer of 1941, the map of Europe was a sea of black and gray. From the coast of France to the borders of the Soviet Union, from Norway to the Greek islands, the Axis powers were at the zenith of their power. Britain, battered but unbroken, held out, supported by a trickle of supplies across the Atlantic. The world held its breath, wondering what Hitler's next move would be. He had conquered the West. Now, he was turning his gaze to the East, preparing for the largest land invasion in human history, Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. That colossal clash of titans is where we'll pick up next time. The war is about to enter its most brutal and decisive phase. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this incredible story. See you then.